Well, Reuters is reporting today that Tesla's website no longer offers the option to reserve a $61,000 version of the Cybertruck, which previously had been offered with a 250-mile range and a targeted 2025 delivery. The 99,990 dual motor variant, the Foundation Limited series with a 318-mile range, is estimated to be delivering as early as this month, with the $120,000 tri-motor Foundation Cyberbeast with a range of 301 miles available from October. So things are starting to get a little more in line with the Foundation and the Cyberbeast, and so you can order today and get it pretty quick. Well, but then they go on to claim that Tesla's 1 million waiting list is not true. First of all, it's over 2 million last time I heard. Who knows how many of those people are real and how many of those people will actually purchase when they get the chance. But the two things have nothing to do with one another. There are many, many, many of us in line, as probably some of you are, for the less expensive trucks, the 61,000 or the 70,000 versions when they become available. Actually, most bulls have been shocked about how many of these $120,000 and $100,000 units were actually sold. We thought that those would be over a long time ago, and they would be going back through the list to take us into consideration. So the articles, as usual, really bad reporting. Cox says the Cybertruck is by far the best-selling car in the U.S. in the over $100,000 class. How about that? All right, then we have this from CNBC. And this is a little fun stuff. Hope you enjoy it. CNBC, Senator Elizabeth Warren sent a letter to Tesla chairperson Robin Denholm. She sent this over on Thursday morning, and she was concerned about Elon Musk and possible breaches of his fiduciary duty to the company. Warren wanted to know whether the board has even bothered to investigate Musk's use of Tesla resources to benefit his other companies, including SpaceX and xAI. And we did report on this letter the other day. I forget which, probably the morning show. Well, anyway, as you can well imagine, Tesla boomer mama decided this should not go on without some kind of response. So here's her letter. She says, "We, the undersigned Tesla shareholders, are writing in response to your letter, blah, blah, blah. We must express our deep concern and disappointment regarding your unwarranted interference in Tesla's affairs. First and foremost, we question the basis of your involvement in this matter. Tesla's not domiciled in your state, and to our knowledge, you're not a shareholder. Your attempt to exert influence over a company in which you have no direct stake is frankly perplexing and concerning. We cannot help but view your actions as politically motivated, particularly given the timing of your letter during a presidential election period. I said as much on Thursday. This appears to be an attempt to generate political pressure rather than a genuine effort to address shareholder concerns. Your letter conspicuously fails to acknowledge Tesla's significant contributions to the American economy, the global shift to EVs, and to a sustainable future. As the most American car maker, Tesla's created tens of thousands of jobs all across the country, and moreover, Elon Musk's other ventures have further bolstered American innovation and employment. Your silence on these crucial points is telling. So addressing your specific points, number one, diversion of AI resources. The allocation of resources across Musk companies often lead to synergies that benefit Tesla. This is a matter for the board and shareholders to address, not external politicians. Founding of xAI, the potential for collaboration between xAI and Tesla could drive innovations in ways that ultimately benefit our company and shareholders. We've talked about that over and over again. Conflict of interest. The board is well aware of its fiduciary duties and is capable of managing potential conflicts without external political pressure. Board's oversight. We have confidence in our board's ability to provide appropriate oversight. Your assertions of failure are both premature and presumptuous. Shareholder concerns. While some concerns exist, many shareholders continue to support Mr. Musk's vision and leadership, something you Democrats don't possess. Oh, did I say it out loud? We prefer to address these matters internally without political interference. And finally, your questions. Well, your questions are noted. We believe they should be addressed to the board by legitimate shareholders and stakeholders, not by politicians seeking to make headlines. Well, Senator Warren, while we respect your role as a public servant, we strongly believe your energies would be better served directed towards matters that fall within your purview as a senator from Massachusetts and a member of an Indian tribe. Tesla's corporate, she didn't say that. Tesla's corporate governance is a matter for the board and shareholders and the appropriate regulatory bodies. We kindly request that you refrain from further interference in Tesla's affairs. Instead, we suggest focusing on creating an environment in which fosters innovation and job creation, areas where Tesla and Elon Musk's other ventures have demonstrably excelled. We stand firmly behind Tesla's mission and leadership, and we will continue to work constructively with the board to ensure the company's ongoing success and adherence to proper governance standard. And then sign the shareholders. Okay, then somebody suggested, let's throw this into Grok and see how Grok feels about all this. Maybe Grok would have another way of saying it. So this is how Grok responded. I hope this letter finds you well. This is addressed, of course, to Dinner Senator Warren. Though I'm sure it will find you just as it finds everyone else, with a mix of confusion, amusement, and an occasional eye roll. I understand that you've been quite busy trying to save the world from the evils of capitalism and free speech, but I'd like to take a moment to address your recent concerns about Tesla's board of directors and our fearless leader, Elon Musk. First of all, let's talk about the board. You seem to think that they're not independent enough from Elon. Well, I hate to break it to you, but if you think anyone can truly be independent from Elon, you're more naive than a newborn baby trying to understand quantum mechanics. Elon is like a black hole of charisma and genius. He sucks everyone into his orbit and there's no escaping. The board members are just along for the ride, trying not to get sucked into the event horizon. Now let's move on to Elon himself. You seem to think that he's too distracted by his other ventures like Twitter, X and XAI, but let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to juggle multiple balls while riding on a unicycle on a tightrope over a pit of angry alligators? No. Then you have no right to judge Elon's ability to multitask. He's a modern-day Renaissance man, and if he wants to tweet about his latest AI breakthroughs while simultaneously revolutionizing the automotive industry, who are we to stand in his way? And finally, let's address the elephant in the room. Elon's compensation plan. Yes, $55.8 billion is a lot of money, but have you seen the price of avocados lately? It's getting harder and harder to make ends meet, even for a billionaire like Elon. We need to ensure that he has enough funds to continue his important work of saving humanity from itself. In conclusion, Senator Warren, I kindly ask you to step back. Let Elon and the Tesla board do what they do best. Change the world, one tweet at a time, or one post on X at a time, it should say. And if you're concerned about conflicts of interest, I suggest you take a look in the mirror. After all, who's funding your campaign and what are they getting in return? That's just something to think about. Sincerely, the Tesla shareholders, led by Tesla Boomer Mama. Don't mess with Tesla retail shareholders. By the way, this is Randy Kirk. If you hadn't hit like yet, please hit like and subscribe and notify. And and then join Patreon. That would be really swell. You know, that's easy, right? You just go down to the description, push the link. The link takes you over to Patreon. You have a choice. You can get $3, $5, or $10 level. I'll take any one of the three. In fact, there's even a $50 level where we have two producers at the $50 level right now. Thank you so much to both of those individuals. All right, the 30-year rate fell by 26 basis points to 6.47. That is the mortgage rate, not the treasury bill rate. The 30-year mortgage has fallen to 6.47. That is the lowest level since May 2023 and the biggest drops since December. Rates are also much lower than they were in October when the 30-year rate was close to 8%. I was doing some, I had more to say about that. I was going on to the next article. So, by the way, if you are interested in a mortgage or you need a lender, my friend Bill Rayman, he was on the show about a year ago. He's amazing. He's like in the upper 1% of all lenders, all mortgage brokers. And if you'd be interested in talking to him, his information is also in the description below. But if you're not interested in talking to him, I think it's really interesting to see that mortgages are finally around the 6.5 level. Maybe we'll be seeing 5% mortgages here in the future. And pretty soon, it's going to get to the point where some folks who got their mortgage in the last year or two are going to want to refinance. So keep that number handy in case you need to talk to Bill. Anyway, I was doing some prep today. And then this prep required me to look at lots and lots of financial charts, looking at the history of things like the CPI, the PPI, housing, jobs and unemployment and such. And the one thing that just stood out on one chart after another, every chart that I looked at was how the last 4 years have been horrible for the working class. Just terrible for the working class. In fact, in almost every chart, you could look at it and you go, this has been horrible. This has been the worst it's been for the working class since Carter. Meanwhile, the professional class is probably feeling pretty good about their increased wealth as their home values and portfolios have increased, at least in part due to the inflation. Well, as all the guys on the All In podcast agreed yesterday, there is a greater than zero chance that the U.S. will have to pay the piper someday in a similar way to the way Japan has had to pay since 1999, when their economy started falling apart. And they're sitting right now with their overall outstanding debt for the government, I think at three times their annual GDP, something like that, maybe even more. Anyway, I would say that there's a very, very good chance that AI and robots, both of those things that are going to contribute to your wealth in the future if you're invested in Tesla, not investment advice, that AI and robots could produce the kind of economy over the next 10 years that can really solve all these debt problems. And so, no, we might not ever have to pay the piper. But there's no guarantee of that either. And with that new world that's going to come with AI and robots, we will probably have some very interesting new questions and new problems to answer with regard to things like purpose and what kinds of jobs people will be able to have. Now, I've talked a lot about that on this channel. You've undoubtedly heard my thinking. I think that people will find jobs, and I think most of it is going to be in entertainment, travel, and things like what I'm doing right now. Folks that will be informing and providing people with news. People are liking to get their news in unique ways based on unique personalities, as well as the way that the news has been curated. So some of you are on my channel because that's what you like about what happens here. My guests, the methods that we use, the time of day, the number of, the length of the programming. And yet somebody else likes the All In podcast and are happy to do an hour and a half a week in order to get some other kind of news. So there's so many different ways, and I think that will be a major way that people will make their living in the future. Okay, so that's really all there was on this Saturday. I hope that you've had a wonderful Saturday so far. You're probably watching the Olympics on these last 2 days, and hope that go whatever country you're from. For me, go USA. But some of you, of course, are not in the USA, and you probably have a slightly different hope at the end of all the programming tomorrow. All right. Been great talking to you.